And this is Mike Lyons with Smart Meetings TV, and I'm delighted to be standing here with Janine Driver, who I've just heard for the second time. We had you earlier in Miami, Florida, I think last year at Smart Meetings. The thing that's so interesting when we hear you talk about the power of body language, and I think everybody's familiar with that term, body language, but we really don't get it, and we don't understand that every little move that we make every single day in every interaction with every human being, we're definitely creating messages.
Typically I talk about, if you think of your body in that game show when we were little kids, or this little game, song, head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Usually I'll talk about all the different zones, and today I did something different because I came back and I wanted something fresh. I'd seen some familiar faces. People have seen me before in the meeting industry. So today I talked about where to sit at a table when you're having a meeting, whether it's a meal, a lunch, a dinner, cocktails, if you're in a boardroom. Well, many of us think about the fancy orange tie and the blue shirt you're going to wear, or the suit, it's dry cleaned and ready to go, or the shoes. But we don't think and spend that same amount of time with body language. And I have the audience prove to one another that out of everything you put on every day, the thing that'll be judged the most is your body language. So what we did is everyone took pictures of themselves, and they took 4 different poses. I put some pictures of celebrities on the wall, and they got to choose. And then I had them judge themselves. Which version of you makes the most money? And no one said, well, I think all of them make the most money. Every single person had a top pick of what they did. And it was often a move they never normally do. So they saw something different, whether it's something as simple as an elbow pop, or doing a steeple, or just taking up some space. So it was fun for them to do it themselves. And I told them, throw it on social media and have people, vote. Which version of you do you think our version of me makes the most money, right? So it's fun.
Well, I think the thing that most people took away from that was, how do we use these lessons that we learned from you today in our day-to-day lives, in sales, in those negotiating situations, and how are we positioning ourselves? Where are we sitting, as you just said?
So this was short in an hour, and a guy came up and said, well, I want to know exactly how to apply it. Well, that's like you watching a video for an hour of how to ride a bike, or how to go parasailing, or how to go skydiving, and expect to know how to actually skydive. Right. It's not until you get in the airplane and get ready to jump. It's not until you get on the bike. So what they don't realize is what they learned today, you can't unlearn it. They won't apply it, and not in this room, until they go out there and you're at the lunch. And my motto is, you can't unsee it, unexperience it, or unhear it. They don't realize the impact of what they just received, because they're going to go out right now and they'll be on the metro or the subway and at dinner with their family, and they're going to see something. So I think it's one of those lessons where I'm giving you the data. We don't get a lot of time in an hour to practice. We practiced a little with some of the pictures. And then I spoke about the power of words today, which was something different than last year in Florida, which is, I call it the cooperation paradigm. I'm doing a TEDx talk in Wilmington, Delaware, sharing the stage with Joe Biden's sister, Valerie Biden. And we say good stuff to the bad guys. To murderers and rapists, we'll say things like, you're a man of your word, you have integrity, you're going to do the right thing. Because in law enforcement, we know it's going to prime your brain to do the right thing. We're going to take over your brain. But with our kids, with our significant others, with our employees, what do we say? You're always late. You're not nice to your sister. You're so lazy. And so today I talked about the cooperation paradigm, not just saying good stuff to the bad guys and bad stuff to the good guys, but saying good stuff to both, right? To get the result you're looking for. And we broke down a little bit of what happens in the brain. If you're talking in negative tones, which is considered body language, tone and pitch, if I'm talking to you with a negative tone, your amygdala fires in your brain, and know what happens? You stop listening to me because it detonates this thing in the brain, and now we're fearful, we're anxious, we're sad. So it's one of those things where I look at you and I'm nodding, but I don't hear a word you say.
Right. So I think that really, you're absolutely right. So this was a primer, this was a basic. We're not going to become a pro quarterback in 1 hour.
It's the smorgasbord.
But it's certainly, I think, what's everybody's appetite into thinking about the subject of body language, and hopefully going to the Body Language Institute, which you run, or at least reading up on it, or at least trying to practice it on a day-to-day basis and get more familiar with it and how it impacts how we're perceived, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, and I love this industry. I want to help in any way that I can get that edge. Today, we are doing more with less. Millennials do want this training, so there's many opportunities for you to get out there and be the event coordinator, be the meeting coordinator. But what's going to differentiate you? How are you any different from the other 1,000 people? Because millennials are now event planners and meeting planners, and they work out of their house because they like to throw parties. Like, what makes you any different than all these other people? This edge of how you show up with body language can make the difference between the yes or a no.
Fantastic.